The story kicks off on a peaceful night, with the moon glowing brightly in the sky. The weather was so clear that even astronauts were excited to observe the moon closely. Around the same time, we're introduced to a young boy, the main character of our story. He had climbed up to his rooftop with a telescope, eager to get a better look at the moon. But something unexpected happened. He noticed a giant statue in the distance. Strangely, the statue's eyes began to open. In that moment, a powerful light burst from the boy's own eyes. It was so bright and overwhelming that it caused him great pain. The story then jumps forward several years. That boy, named Zyaoki, is now older. Ever since that mysterious night, he's kept his eyes hidden behind a cloth, maybe to protect others or himself from what's inside them. One afternoon, as Zyaoki was heading home with a bag of groceries, a group of kids nearby were playing with a ball. The ball flew toward him, but right before it hit, Zyaoki paused and dodged it effortlessly. The children watched in awe. Wherever Zyaoki goes, people notice him. It's not just his good looks, they're also amazed by how easily he gets around, even though his eyes are always covered. He acts just like anyone else, which makes him even more mysterious. Zyaoki finally gets home, where he lives with his aunt and little brother. Their family doesn't have much money, but Zyaoki always works hard to make sure they have everything they need. Waiting in Zyaoki's room is a doctor, someone who's been helping with his eyes. But when Zyaoki walks in, he's surprised to see a different person. His regular doctor has been transferred, and this new one has taken over. The new doctor asks if Zyaoki can still see. Zyaoki says he can, but he's sensitive to light, which is why he keeps his eyes wrapped up. The doctor seems pleased and says this might mean Zyaoki is well enough to return to school. Then, out of nowhere, the doctor asks if Zyaoki ever sees strange visions or has weird dreams. The way he asks the question feels off, like he might be hiding something or spying for someone else. Zyaoki begins to sense that something isn't right. At that moment, Zyaoki shares a mysterious story. 100 years ago, a strange fog appeared in Antarctica and started spreading around the world. Wherever the fog reached, all communication and contact with people was completely lost. Now, that fog has taken over nearly the entire planet except for one place, Dexia country. It's the last area where people still live. These days, hardly anyone seems to care about the fog, or what really happened to all the people who disappeared. No one even questions why Dexia is the only country still standing. We also find out that on the night Zyaoki saw the moon, some scientists captured him and ran tests on him. When he told them the giant statue he saw was just a hallucination, they finally let him go. Because of that terrifying experience, Zyaoki has learned to keep the truth to himself. Deep down, he knows something is wrong. So now, even when the new doctor brings it up, Zyaoki plays it off and says, "Yeah, I saw a statue when I was little, but it was probably just in my head." The doctor then asks another strange question. "Have you ever seen a monster?" Zyaoki says he's heard lots of stories in the news about monsters, but they all turned out to be fake. So, no, he doesn't think monsters are real. Just then, the scene suddenly shifts. We see a man running in pure fear, being hunted by horrifying creatures. He's doing everything he can to get away. But just when things seem hopeless, a team of fighters with superpowers arrives. Each of them uses a different magical weapon, and they're all connected by earpieces, getting instructions from a teammate. One after another, they take down the monsters. When the battle is over, they ring a special bell that erases the memories of everyone nearby so no one remembers the monsters were ever there. After leaving Zyaoki's house, the doctor makes a quiet call. As he walks away, he tells someone that he's uploaded all the recordings and files from his meeting with Zyaoki. Back inside, Zyaoki tells his aunt and younger brother that his eyes are perfectly fine now. They're thrilled to hear the news and quickly suggest that he should return to school soon. Later that day, Zyaoki sits alone in his room and silently apologizes to his aunt in his mind. He hasn't told her the truth. His eyes aren't okay. Every time he opens them, he sees strange and confusing visions. But oddly enough, he can still see everything even when his eyes are shut. That's the secret to how he functions like a normal person with his eyes always covered. Even now, Zyaoki doesn't fully understand what's happening to him or why he keeps seeing these strange things. He gets into bed, and before drifting off, he shares something important. For the past 5 years, he's been having the exact same dream. And just like that, he's back inside it. In the dream, Zaiooki finds himself in a thick fog, surrounded by frightening monsters. In the distance, through the mist, stands a mysterious building with a sign that reads, House of Gods. He walks up to the gate and thinks, I've come here in my dreams for 5 years, but I've never tried to open the door. This time, I need to know what's inside. Then, he starts knocking hard on the door because he feels the truth he's been searching for is waiting just beyond it. The next morning, Zaiooki heads to school and meets a friendly girl who helps guide him to his classroom. A few other classmates also offer to help him out if he ever needs anything. Feeling a bit surprised, Zaiooki asks, Wait, how do you all know my name? They smile and explain that his aunt had come to the school earlier that day. She introduced him to the staff and students and asked them to look after him. Hearing this, Zaiooki feels a wave of warmth in his chest. He thinks about how hardworking and loving his aunt is. Even though she's older and tired from life's struggles, she still does everything she can for him. Deep down, Zaiooki makes a promise to himself he's going to study hard, change their situation, and one day give her the life she deserves. That evening, some classmates offer to walk him home. Zaiooki gently turns them down, saying he can manage on his own, but they insist, explaining that they promised his aunt they'd make sure he got home safely. Zaiooki is moved by their kindness. He remembers how, growing up, people often called him strange or crazy for talking about the statue he once saw. But now, for the first time in a long while, he feels like he's not alone, like there are people around him who truly care. One of Zaiooki's classmates lived close to the school, and deep down, he was a bit jealous. Everyone was paying attention to Zaiooki and offering him help, which made him feel left out. Trying to act casual, he said, I'll head home alone, I don't live far, and walked off by himself. Not long after he left, the rest of the group caught a foul, rotten smell drifting through the air. When they turned toward a nearby alley, their eyes widened in horror. A terrifying creature was slowly making its way toward them. At the same time, a member of the superhero squad we saw earlier picked up on the monster's presence. He quickly contacted another teammate named Zhao, asking him to rush over and put up a barrier to keep everyone safe. Back in the alley, fear took over. 2 of Zaiooki's classmates screamed and ran. The monster locked its eyes on the girl who had helped Zaiooki earlier at school. Just as it lunged at her, Zaiooki sprang into action. With his staff in hand, he blocked the creature, giving the girl just enough time to run away. Then Zaiooki took off in the other direction, hoping to lead the monster away, but it kept chasing him. Suddenly, a second monster appeared up ahead, and it was chewing on someone's arm. At that moment, Zhao arrived. Using his own blood, he formed a glowing barrier around the area to keep the danger contained. The rest of his team was already on the way. Back with Zaiooki, the monster finally caught up and launched its attack. As he defended himself, Zaiooki shouted out, saying that people always thought he was crazy because of the things he saw as a kid. That's why he had to live quietly, hidden away. But now that he finally has a shot at a normal life, a chance to go to school and make real friends, he's not going to let some hideous monster take that away from him. At that moment, the monster hurls Zaiooki through the air. As they struggle, its claws rip the cloth covering Zaiooki's eyes. The moment his eyes are exposed, he's pulled back into that same strange vision, standing in front of the giant door that says House of Gods, pounding on it with everything he's got. Back in the real world, Zaiooki stabs the monster with his staff, but it manages to bite down on his shoulder. Things get worse as more monsters appear. One even tries to tear his head off. But right as Dream Zaiooki slams his fists harder than ever on the door, it finally begins to open. A blinding light bursts out from Zaiooki's eyes. The glow is so intense, the monsters freeze in fear and start backing away. The light is so strong that it can be seen from far away, and windows nearby begin to melt from the heat. From a distance, the superhero team spots the light too. They're shocked by the energy, wondering what kind of force could be so powerful. One of them says, "This is divine energy. It's just like the King of Angels. It's as if a new god has been born on Earth." Inside the vision, the door swings all the way open. Behind it is a strange building with runes, and each door has a different symbol. But before he can take it all in, the light in Zaiooki's eyes fades away. A monster charges at him, but now something's different. everything seems to slow down. Zyoki moves calmly, gently taps the monster with his staff, and just like that, it flies backward and dies on the spot. With his powers fully awakened, Zyoki begins to fight back, taking down the monsters one after another. Right then, Zhao shows up and finishes off the last creature with a slick move using his sword. Zyoki watches him, a bit amazed by how skilled Zhao is, but without saying much, he turns and starts heading home. The scene then shifts to a sacred place full of godly statues and old, holy church built in honor of divine beings. A masked man steps inside and announces, "A new servant of God has appeared, and Michael, the king of angels, is with him." The others in the church respond, "Bring him here, alive, if you can." Meanwhile, somewhere else, a man is seen driving a truck loaded with captured monsters. Back at Zyoki's house, he finally arrives home. His little brother asks why he's so late. Zyoki just says, "Ran into a bit of trouble," and heads straight to his room to rest. As he sleeps, his dream returns, and he finds himself once again in the mysterious place called the Mansion of Gods. This time, it feels like he's inside an eerie asylum. It reminds him of the mental hospital he was kept in when he was younger. Zyoki steps inside the building, but it doesn't feel like the same hospital. It has a strange, magical atmosphere. He goes around trying to open the doors, but 5 of the 6 won't open at all. When he touches the 6th one, glowing patterns appear all over it. The door slowly opens, revealing a woman sitting peacefully in the middle of a vast ocean. But Zyoki realizes it's just a trick. There's no water at all. It's just another illusion. Zyoki walks up to the mysterious woman and politely says, "Hello," but she doesn't react. All of a sudden, glowing symbols appear around the room, and a screen lights up in front of him. The screen reveals her name, Nakes. She's one of the 5 gods. But something's wrong with her mind. If Zyoki can help heal her, he might gain some of her divine power. He leans in closer and gently whispers, "Can you hear me?" To his shock, Nakes quickly turns to him and says, "My child, you've finally come back after all this time." Zyoki is frozen in surprise. But then she walks right past him and hugs a flower vase, calling it her son. Her actions become more and more bizarre, and Zyoki realizes that her mind is truly broken. Meanwhile, the superhero team is furious. They confront Zhao and demand, "Why did you let that boy go? He holds the power of the King of Angels." Zhao admits he messed up but promises, "I'll find him soon." The next morning, Zhao waits outside Zyoki's school, hoping to spot him. But just as a young child nearby starts crying, Zhao looks away for a moment. And right then, Zyoki walks past him without being noticed. While all this is happening, Zyoki visits a doctor and tells him about Nakes' strange condition. He wants to know if there's any way to help her recover. The doctor explains that with the right medicine and mental care, she could slowly get better. After hearing this, Zyoki decides to return to the mental hospital. Before going, though, he studies some old books and discovers a hidden medicine room mentioned in the texts. He sneaks into that secret room, finds a special medicine that might help Nakes, and disguises himself as a doctor to get into her room. Meanwhile, Zhao is still hanging around Zyoki's school every day, hoping to catch him. Inside Nakes' room, Zyoki gives her the medicine. Soon after, she stops rambling nonsense. The drug was made to calm her down. But Zyoki can tell that it's not just medicine she needs, her heart needs healing too. So, he pretends to be her son, thinking it might bring her some peace. As soon as he says that, Nakes hugs him tightly and says, "My son, you've finally returned." Because of this, Nakes' condition improves just a little by about 3%. As a reward, Zyoki is suddenly gifted with one of her powers called Starlight Dancer. This new ability makes him faster, stronger, and able to heal quickly, especially at night. It also lets him talk to tiny creatures, and his presence alone can frighten some of them. Excited about his new skills, Zyoki starts testing his powers all around the city.